Hi, everyone. This is Tom, and this is story time again. Two stories of near death experiences I would tell my first grade students when I taught first grade and second grade for 27 years in Montgomery County, Maryland. And these stories, I'm going to have two today that are short, put together, are for my grand niece and grand nephew. And if you look up here, you can see Austin and his sister Reese, who watch my videos, and I wanted them to hear these two stories. So, story number one starts with their grandmother, who was my sister, Maggie. Maggie and I were sent to our rooms and punished for behavior of some sort. And this was a common disciplinary practice back in 1962 when I was in first grade and Maggie was in kindergarten. And so back then, we were sent upstairs and we immediately wanted to hide someplace. And that was big in our family, was where could you find the best hiding place? Maggie noticed that there was a cabinet that you could actually climb into. And so I didn't realize we could fit in there. But when I looked at it, I noticed that there was enough room that I could fit in there too. So Maggie climbed into the cabinet and then I climbed in too. And at some point, the door was shut. We must have spent a couple minutes celebrating this great hiding place we had. But at some point, we realized that door is locked and we're not getting out. And we started banging on the door and then crying and then banging more. And I recall that we were in full-blown panic mode, probably losing oxygen, though I can't say for sure now. And we banged for a certain amount of time. I don't know how long. Thank goodness somebody did eventually hear us, because I remember spilling out of that cabinet onto the floor and crying as hard as I've ever cried. It was so scary to not know if anyone would ever come and get us. And so that's what I recall of the hiding story of Maggie and I in the cabinet. Story number two. Uh, my mom liked to go to New York every now and then. She's from Brooklyn, and a couple times I think she got a babysitter when we were little, and we lived on Briarwood Street. And so there was a swing set in the neighborhood, and we had a babysitter, even though Janice was 15 and Nancy was 11, and they could have babysat us, but this was for days. And so we had a babysitter with us, and we were on a swing in one of our neighbors' yards, and our babysitter was behind us, and she had cherries. And she was putting a cherry in our hand when we would go near her. And then we would pop the cherry in our mouth and we would go back and forth and we would work the cherry a little bit and then get the pit. And then moving forward, we would see how far we could spit the pit. And this was cool. I remember laughing and saying, hey, it's my turn. I want a cherry. And at some point, my cherry got lodged in my throat and it was blocking all the air. There was not oxygen going out and there was not oxygen going in. I was in full-blown gagging mode. And I remember hitting the floor or the dirt in front of me and the babysitter grabbing my coat and pulling me and then hitting me on my back as hard. I can remember being hit to this day, and it was hard. And that cherry came out, and it did not just come out into my mouth. That cherry came out and was really dislodged and was airborne. And so I cried as hard as I've cried. I remember just like the cabinet, I just cried and thanked God I was alive. So these are two stories I would tell my students, and I would alert them to be aware of your surroundings if you hide or something to that effect, so that you know that you can get out. And also, don't put something into your mouth on a swing or when you're running or something like that that can get caught, and then you have to find a way to get it out. Thank goodness that babysitter was paying attention, though. I can just think nowadays a babysitter might be on their cell phone and not see me choking just a mere feet away. But she did the job.